Be careful. You might learn something.
Let's go.
You are now tuned in to the Factual Opinions Podcast with your hosts. I am Pharaoh. Straight facts.
What's up, world? This is your humble and gracious host. I am Pharaoh, checking in with big bro Calvin Hill. This is Factual Opinions Podcast, Season 6, Episode 8. We're calling it Red Zone Defense. Why? Because sometimes, just as in football and real life, you got to bend but don't break. When it gets down to the nitty gritty, you got to stand up and make a stop. And that's what we're trying to do on here and in real life. So we will supposedly be joined by Will West, the best Nate, at some point during the telecast and the live stream. I believe we're going to be without the services of the Brown Bruce Wayne today, Big John. But we are going to still have a great episode and a lot of things that we want to get into and talk about. I'm going to switch around the order a little bit since Nate is not on here yet. I want to save especially the boxing conversation for him since we had a big fight get officially booked on Monday that a lot of us have been waiting on for years. Little past due, but we're still going to turn it on and watch it.
Right.
One thing I usually say the grind my gear segment for later in the episode, but also I wanted Nate to tag some people, but I'm just going to get it out from the beginning and I'll go back and maybe even post it as a teaser clip. So I usually don't talk about personal matters on here, but I'm going to do it. That's the benefit of having my own platform, as I can say what I want to say on here. I'm not going to mention anybody by name, but I had somebody that was really close with my big brother, Dustin, and grew up with him as a really close friend of his, or was, prior to Dustin, passing, say some things to me last week that really pissed me off. And I understand why certain people would say not to take it to the extreme. And I'm not, because I don't have the capacity to deal with it. But I'm going to say this, especially when people come on the judgmental tip. I am extremely happy and proud to be born and raised in Madisonville. I'm proud of the people that raised me. I'm proud of the people that coached me. I'm proud of the people that I grew up with and I played sports with, I went to school with, particularly those that I'm still in contact with. I'm proud of anybody who lent a helping hand, mentored me, coached me, taught me. The high school that I went to, the Big John went to. I'm proud of all of that. I'm proud of, every person that, like I said, was in my corner from day one. So if you got something to say about that, I'm not going to use profanity, at least try not to. I don't really give a damn. I'm proud of who I am and the people that made me who I am. Let me just leave it at that.
Yeah. We get it. We definitely get it.
Yeah, man. The judgmental stuff is just
And we have age, man. At this point, man, if we can't have an adult conversation, if you don't like it, keep it to yourself, because it really ain't gonna move me. So
yeah. I didn't go to Summit Country Day. Let me stop because I'm gonna get personal.
Yeah, you ain't gotta go. Yeah, but the message was understood. I get it. I understand completely.
What do you say, oh bad boy? Like you, my daddy ain't leave either.
No trust fund. Yeah, man. But I listen. At this age, man, like I said before, man, if you don't really have nothing nice to say, man, or we can't talk about it as men or as women or as adults, keep it to yourself, man. I'm 40 plus, brother. your thought process of me doesn't really move me one bit. I'm only worried about the people that I care about. So man, I feel it.
And I'm not quite 40 yet. I will be come this December. And I'm the same way, man. I don't need no extra drama, no, extra bull junk coming my way, as Coach Prime would say. I'm good in the headspace that I am, and what little bit I am dealing with, I'd rather focus on that. I don't need anybody's extra baggage.
That's it.
So I'm gonna tag a few people, and then we'll get started, because this is usually Nate's job to tag everybody.
Leave it to Nate not to do his job. Man, I tell you, be on people.
Mr. Frederick Douglass, I'm rooting for the Celtics self. Get everybody that I could think of at the beginning. Get everybody that I could think of. All right. So we don't want it to go too stagnant. If I could think of other people that we need to tag. So let's get right into it,
Mhm.
Cal. The draft.
Yes, sir.
I think one thing we have to do is we have to include Dexter Lawrence as part of this Bengals draft class. Number one. So when I saw Mel Kiper give the Bengals a solid B, I was leaning that direction too. But I'm going to go ahead and give it an A because we acquired one of, if not the best nose tackle in the game since the last time we were on. And Dexter Lawrence, huge trade. The Bengals gave up the number 10 overall draft pick in the 2026 draft to acquire all pro nose tackle Dexter Lawrence. So I was on board. It sounds like most of Bengals Nation was on board. It's exactly the type of risk that our front office is not known for taking. But with the window that we have, with Joe Burrow turning 30 this year and the other superstars that we resign offensively, we have to go for the gusto right now. So first, before we get into the draft picks, Cal, what did you think about the Dexter Lawrence trade?
The Dexter Lawrence trade was. I don't want to be cliche and say it was a sexy trade, but the sexy Dexy dance is definitely on the way. But I say it was needed. They went for a home run and they got it to at least solidify that front four. I love it. I really love it. I had to really take the emotional part of it, of the fan. Of I didn't want them to trade the pick, but they got the best out of the pick that they thought who or may not be there. So it worked out. So I actually like it. He's going to help that front four. He's going to help the linebackers. He's going to take up two people, fill two gaps. He's going to cause a lot of disruptive activity for that back seven. So I love it.
Yeah, I know you were on the fence originally, or actually, you were off the fence originally because you tagged me and Big John and a few other people and said, "Man, we messed up," and I'm like, "Cal, no, we didn't, bro. This is a
Yeah.
good move right
Yeah, I
here."
had to remove that emotion, man. That fandom. You know, once the fandom goes away and the logic kicks in, all right, we back to normal.
Yeah, I to me it was one of those things where a lot of Bengals Nation and Bengals fans will complain about the lack of activity, the lack of aggressiveness, and going for the gusto from the front office. So I'm like, so when they do it, then we have to be excited.
Yeah,
And yes, they're taking a chance, but I'd rather take a chance on a proven commodity that's still in his prime at age 28, like Dexter Lawrence,
right.
as opposed to hoping that a rookie can come in and hit the ground running and give an immediate impact. Because see, that's what we need. Like we can't
Yeah,
have any more developmental projects. We can't have any misses in first round draft picks. So we needed a solidified guy like Dexter Lawrence to say, all right, we're going to improve the defense alone with his presence. Now, that's not to
right.
say that they're done or there wasn't other needs, there, but that's a big part of it. It's going to be tough sledding running against the Bengals this year.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You throw Jonathan Allen, B.J. Hill, you throw Malik Jackson, you throw a couple other guys. Just with that front, them two tackles alone, the depth needs to be there. Like that is the formula that seems to have been working for the Rams, been working for the Eagles extensively. So once you solidify that front four, where you don't have to necessarily rush the passer with five and or six, you can stop the run before. You can get a lot of flow with the linebackers. Nobody getting up to the second level to touch them, and I think them young linebackers. That's really what they needed. They needed that, to be able to flow and roam freely, at least for now, to get the defensive calls, to get everybody lined up the way they should, because it ain't nothing like having somebody in your face. The first two read step, boom, left, right, you got somebody in your face. That's tough.
Yeah, especially for young guys that don't have a whole lot of experience. There was a lot made of the missed tackles that
Right.
the linebackers had last year, Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter. a lot of that was because, like you said, they didn't have time to key their reads a lot of times before somebody was already in their face, and just being young. I'm not really worried about both of them. I see the effort, I see the ability, and again, giving them some time to think and look at their keys with guys up front that are going to keep people off of them is going to be critical. You name, some veterans like Allen and of course Dexter, coming in. And by the way, Paycor is going to go nuts the first time he Dexy after getting a sack or a big tackle for loss. So I can't wait to see that. But no, I thought it was a great move. Totally unprecedented. Nobody expected that. When that came in, it was like, wow, Bengals are going for the gusto.
Yep.
So with the draft picks, started off in the second round. I really like Cassius Howe.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really like about the pick is what I tried to explain what I thought was lacking from Shamar Stewart last year, because Cassius Howe is a guy that has multiple pass rush moves. He has natural things that you can't teach, like that bend coming around the edge, knows how to get skinny, knows how to get parallel to get to the pass rusher, has a motor, and really loves football. And the Bengals went against their traditional logic. Usually they like guys put the hand down on the ground, traditional defensive end built like Carlos Dunlap from Michael Johnson. This time they got a pass rusher and somebody that proves that they can get to the damn quarterback.
Right.
Something that can't really be taught. You can critique it and fine tune it, but it's a skill that you have to have. So I'm really excited about him. But I'm going to tell you honestly, the pick that I'm most excited about, and this is going a little counterintuitive, I like the 7th round pick, the tight end Jack Enders from Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. I like
give
that guy.
him a fair shot, he could end up being the best 7th round pick we've had since TJ Houshmandzadeh.
Yeah. 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 I listen, the Howe pick is great because I feel like the production meets the film. The intangibles and the numbers finally come together. That was Shamar Moore's problem. He had the intangibles without the numbers, but this guy has the numbers and the intangibles, and he has the hardware to prove it. He got SEC Defensive Player of the Year, so he is definitely worth that pick. But you know where I'm gonna go with my favorite. You know my guy, Takario Davis,
Oh,
man.
here we go.
Takario Davis, brother. You can't teach. Listen, man, if you got the size of a point guard / shooting guard, and he can turn them hips, man, and he can run with some of these receivers today, a 6'3", 6'4" corner, man, you can't teach that size, man. And that's one of the things that if he can figure it out, like we talked about the other day, if he can get out of his breaks, great. He's flexible. He can bend. Hopefully, he's gonna be a great pickup for the Bengals. But and I'm gonna go off key too. I'm gonna tell you who I think is one of the better free agent signings, man. That kid from USC, the linebacker, the 6'6" kid. I can't think his name. We got the Bengals signed him, man. He's a 6'6", 216-pound linebacker. He looked like a receiver, but he plays Sam and plays weak. He's an unrestricted free. He was an undrafted free agent. The Bengals picked him up. He may be a steal because you can put him anywhere on the field. He can run. So I see the non-traditional way they went about it this draft, which I like. They went more athlete instead of tradition outside of the proven guy Dexter Lawrence. So overall, man, I know this. They say they give him a B. I think the Bengals got like an A minus, man, overall, and that's including the signees as well for me.
Yeah, there was another steal, and again, I know you, Big John, love those, 6 foot and above corners. Even though we had that argument about, I feel like most of the greats were 5'10", 5'11", out there. But as long as, and that is a big if, like you said, as long as his hips are flexible, he can get in and out of them breaks and stay with some of these more shifty guys, because that's going to be the key. He's not going to be an inside corner playing the nickel. He's going to have to be, an outside guy with that size. But he does run a 4.4 40. So we know north and south, he can pick
He
them
get
up
there.
down, as
Yeah.
they say, so not worried about that. Brother Jay in the house, he said if Burrow reconstruction is true, defense will get even crazier.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but we've been waiting on that for a few years. I know Joe said he was always open to it and would do it, but we need pen to hit paper
yeah, buddy.
on that, and it
Yeah,
really would help things out if he could. But Takario Davis was an interesting pick there in the third round. Fourth round pick, Kobe Young,
yeah.
wide receiver that started off at the U. A guy that's 6'4", 212 pounds, runs just under 4.5, 40-yard dash. Hopefully he can push the guys behind. We know the top two, 1A,
Mhm.
1B with Chase and T. But
Yeah,
I think Yoshi needs some competition for that third spot.
yeah,
He really does to push him. And we love to see Tinsley get more burn this year. I think he earned that. But I think that Kobe Young could definitely shake things up
yeah.
and give them another wide receiver with some serious length out there.
Yeah, he definitely gonna light a fuel under somebody. He definitely gonna push the envelope. I mean, Georgia, Miami started, Georgia kid now. Big guy, big guy. He can run. He definitely can go get it. Jump ball is almost his all the time. I like Acevedo only because I thought he was smart. I thought his size played a part, but it sometimes just looked like he's not really playing as hard as we think he should. That's it, just off the look. I'm not saying that he's like that or he plays bad, but Tinsley going hard because you can see it. Because Tinsley got a point to prove every time the ball thrown to him. 1 and 2, we already know what you're gonna get. But that 3 and 4, it's like he's not as, I don't know, maybe he's a little bit too quiet. He ain't as fiery as like Boyd was or anything like that. So it's kind of like, I don't know. He seems like he's just kind of going through it a little bit. But I like him as a player. He's a little bit inconsistent, but Young is definitely gonna push 80
Yeah,
and 82.
he's got
Yeah.
some serious ability and intangibles you can't teach. And brother Justin brought up another point: the two centers we picked up, because as great as
Mm-hmm.
Ted Karras has been here, he's going to be what I believe 33
Yep.
this year, starting to get towards the back end. And they say these guys had the potential to be starters long term. One of them is coming off of an ACL
Mm-hmm.
tear, so you don't know how much you're going to get right away. But just to have a guy like Karras in there that does not mind being a mentor and passing that torch could end up being a good move long term too. So I was really excited and pleased with the draft overall. There weren't any real head scratchers that I saw, on there. Even the Navy kid at the end, the defensive tackle,
Yep.
may pay dividends and adding depth, like you said, up front. So I think the Bengals have had a really good offseason. I've been critical at times, and I'll say if I believe that there's not, something taking place that I would like to see. But I think they pretty much did everything that I was hoping, to see, because
Yeah.
I'm still worried about the corner spot. So Takario Davis was a good pickup
Mm-hmm.
there in the third round. Also, there was something else I wanted to talk about with our beloved Bengals, but I didn't have that in the group chat and I messed around and forgot. But we're gonna talk about it, so I don't care if people get mad. We're gonna talk about the play continue, Cal.
uh-huh.
There were four more Buckeyes drafted in the first round, which means that's 99 all time first round draft picks, the most of any school. And I thought that both of them, or excuse me, both of the first two picks went to interesting spots. Arvell
Mm-hmm.
Reese going to the Giants was a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
a surprise because I thought maybe the Jets would go with him at number 2 overall.
Yeah.
And then uh, Carnell Tate, it seems like there were some Tennessee Titans fans that weren't really excited about the pick, and I don't understand why, because your man Cam needs some help down there.
Man, and not to be funny, I mean beggars can't be choosy at this point. Y'all throw the ball to no name guys right now. We can't even name a receiver on their team. And they
Carnell
and they a couple years off the playoffs for real. So I don't know about that one.
Carnell Tate is a hell of a player,
Yeah,
and was actually my favorite Buckeyes wide receiver this past year, even with the great Jeremiah Smith there. So they should be happy with that pick. Sonny Styles goes to Washington.
that hurt.
And
I heard my feelings.
I knew Jerry was gonna work his magic for one of them Buckeyes,
Yeah,
and he traded up and got my man, um,
Caleb down.
yeah, Caleb Downs. Excuse me. So he's got a leader in the back end of that defense and a character guy in that locker room, something that was needed for Dallas. So Ryan Day's got it going
Yeah.
as usual. And I did catch the spring game where
Uh-huh.
your boy, your former Withrow
Yeah,
Tiger, Chris Henry Jr. was already looking like a stud
man.
out there ready to go. So
Yeah. Shout out to my dad, man. Pops. He made a comment the other day about the Caleb Downs. He said Jerry Jones just drafted Darren Woodson all over again. I said, whoa. I said
hey,
that. I said, now if you can get anything close to a Darren Woodson type career out of him, this will be a great all time pick because Darren Woodson wasn't even expected to be Darren Woodson when they got him. So the fact that Caleb Downs can be mentioned with him is a great comparison. He's not as big, but I don't think that matters in this day of football. But definitely, if he can get any type comparisons or any type career like Darren Woodson, that this would be an all time great pick. And Jerry
if they
Jones
can
did kind
get
of show his hands with that one.
yeah, if they can get half of what they got from Darren Woodson, if they can get close to, I'll throw another name out there from recent history. If they can get some Barry Church
Yeah,
out there
yeah,
at back end, just that consistency, which I believe they will, because I still believe Caleb Downs was the safest pick
uh
in the draft. Dallas will have something on that other side of the ball. We got a Will West sighting.
oh,
We
What up,
got
y'all? What's
what's
going
going
on?
on?
Y'all
first.
won't be able to see me for a minute. Sorry.
That's fine, because I'm going to ask you while we can't see you. How was the Michael Jackson movie?
Man, I might have to go back and see it again, man. It was that good, man. It was like going to a concert, bro. But you have to, going to see the movie, you have to do the, what is it? The X, whatever that one. With the sound system. You have to go to that one.
Oh, I'm going.
Yeah, and then, well, I ain't gonna tell you, but you'll find out. You'll find out at the end of the movie. Or if you probably already know.
Well, y'all know how big a Michael, fan I am. So
For sure. They did, bro. He did amazing playing Michael. Not gonna hold you.
that was his nephew. That was Jermaine's son
That's
playing
Jermaine's son.
his uncle.
Yep, yep. That's Jermaine's son. He did a great job. And dang, I can't think of his name. But he played Joe Jackson, man. He had him down to a T.
That's the only character I want to see. I want to see him play.
Man, he played Joe Jackson down to a T, ass whoopings and all.
I bet.
Oh man.
I bet. What'd he say? We got to capitalize off of Michael's success.
For sure. We got to make the Jackson Fives a household name.
So Nate, we were talking about the Bengals because I kind of switched things
Yeah,
around.
I was hearing, I was listening.
I wanted you to be around before we get into the boxing and a few other points. Did you have a particular Bengals draft pick that stood out to you, or a guy you looking forward to?
Um,
We said Cassius Howe, and I said the tight end.
yeah, Hal's really the one I was proud of that pick. That pick was amazing. It was needed. So that was the main pick that really intrigued me the most because I'm like, oh, I didn't think they was gonna pay attention to the accolades and what he did on the field, and they did. So it shocked me.
Well, that's the thing. I think that the Cassius Howe pick encompassed everything that they were looking or wanted to get with
Mm-hmm.
Shamar
For
Stewart
sure.
last year. I mean, they went back to the same school where you got drafted from, young fella. So you better be on your game. But now he had the actual production that we were looking for, the
Mm-hmm.
actual sack totals. When you watch him rush the passer, he has more than one pass rush move. He has things that you can't teach, like knowing how to bend coming around that edge and just get to the quarterback. Like I said, a lot of scouts, a lot of GMs and people, and unfortunately, sometimes those decisions are made by people that didn't or don't play the game of football. So that's why it happens the way it does, but they overcomplicate that process. Getting to the pass rusher is a skill and an ability in itself. And if I'm drafting an edge rusher, I want to be able to see that you know how to do that.
Yep. He has just based off of what I've seen in film, he's got all the accolades as far as an ultimate pass rusher and somebody that can be dangerous in the future. So that's really what stood out to me. I'm like, dude got the complete package.
Yeah,
And
so
for him to still be on the board that late, it was just like it kind of was shocking.
well, because the reason is because see, he's an edge rusher. So he's not a defensive end. That's why they
Yeah,
use that term now.
yeah, that's the term
Rusher.
they're using. Yeah.
And the Bengals have passed on a few guys in the past. Like Nolan Smith was another one a few years ago coming out of Georgia that I was really intrigued by, but he didn't have the measurables. He was only 6'2", 6'3", and people were like, well, he's a tweener. Is he a defensive end? Is he an outside linebacker? He's a pass rusher.
Hmm. That's all that mattered. He
Worry.
getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, that's it. If he can get there, that's a decent percentage of what the Bengals are needing and trying to do in the first place.
Yeah, that's a
That's
fact.
it. If they can get any type production defensive end wise that they got Trey Hendrickson wise, at least by committee, that fills a big hole already. That
Hmm.
fills a big hole already. And we know as football people, as pass rushes always help the defensive backs. And you can get the quicker you can get there, the shorter you got to cover. So
Yep.
that's always the help. And that's been the Bengals' problem because it's coming only from one side. We can't get it to match from both ends. So if they can do anything with any type sense of urgency up front, at least with the front four, we can figure out a way on this packages, but getting to the passer with four is the main concern.
Yeah. And I think that they'll be able to do it from a group, perspective, because obviously you're not gonna have that one guy that's just lighting it up the way Trey Hendrickson did, but that may end up being better because you have a more
You
balanced
want me to
team.
move?
So that's what I'm looking forward to. But like I said, all the picks that they made, the young centers, Kobe Young in the receiver room, but Jack Andrews, and I'm not being funny when I say this, he's already better than Drew Sample. He is already
Oh yeah.
better than Drew Sample. If they get his kid a chance, we're gonna have something to tight end.
Was Drew Sample a Marvin guy?
No, that was
What?
Mm-mm, nah, he was after.
Zach's first,
That was
second.
the first one. Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Yep, absolutely. So Nate, I wanted to have you on here before we transition it all, but we'll go to basketball now because I want to ask how you're feeling after Hulu has live sports came back yesterday and put it on your Celtics,
Uh,
aka trust the process.
I will never trust the process. Um, I honestly feel like Joel Embiid needs to retire just because of his illness. What he did to us was embarrassing because we were up majority of that game. That's what makes it bad.
So you want him to retire because he looked like the old Joel Embiid yesterday.
Yeah, I want him to retire.
You trying to
Buckets.
put that man in the nursing home already?
Yeah, he should have been there. He should have been there last year. He just had good games.
Yeah.
Don't get careless and end up like I know they're winning right now. Those Detroit Pistons that I said this whole year, and people got to give me credit because I said this whole year. I said, bruh, they look like a team that's too worried about one team in particular and
Yeah.
made that the bane of their existence. And I'm speaking of my New York Knicks. That was their whole goal this year: win the season series against them. We're gonna get to New York and we're gonna knock them out. You better be careful because let's go Magic got you on the ropes right now.
A good old hiccup, Detroit back at the crib. I mean, I don't see them. I don't see them coming back from 3-1. I mean, I like Cunningham. I mean, I think they're a solid team, but I don't know if they built to come back from 3-1.
No, they're not.
I don't
Not at
think they
all.
built to do that.
It reminds me of when Cal, you might have just graduated. Yeah, you was graduating that year. It reminds me of back in the day when Tracy McGrady had them 3 games to 1
Mm-hmm.
and coughed it up. But I
Yeah,
don't think that'll happen because
no,
Orlando's a really balanced team, actually.
yeah, they're
They match
way.
up with Detroit very well.
They're actually bigger than Detroit
Yeah, they
from
are.
from
That front
one to
court is really,
ten,
yeah, the front. That's really what's killing them right now.
and then you throw Isaacs in there with Franz, and yeah, they pretty
Well, what's
big
your
in the
name? Just
back.
got hurt the last game.
Yeah,
Franz
he
got hurt
did.
again.
Yeah, but I mean, outside of that, man, they pretty big.
Yeah, it's that front line. That front line killing them.
Yep.
They can't because they shutting Jalen Durden down. Um, Tobias Harris is really playing the three more than anything, so he's not crashing the glass or anything like
Yeah.
that.
So
They
is
keep
that
getting Isaacs in foul trouble every game. He get in foul trouble in every game in this series. He been in foul trouble.
Yeah.
and
Isaac
is that
Stewart.
is that
Bias
true
violence.
that Orlando's coach was on the hot seat coming
He was
into
on the hot seat coming into
Mhm.
this. Yeah,
Pablo Bancaro actually started playing some ball for him now. So uh, hopefully, because they make too many rash decisions as far as coaches and coaching changes and stuff now.
that's a
What's up,
fact. They do.
Chris?
But the thing is, it's because Paolo ain't gelling with him. But now you see, if you buy into the coach process, it works.
Hold on, we're gonna pivot back while I got brother Chris in here. Um, no, you good,
Oh, my
brother.
bad. I did the wrong thing. My fault.
You good, brother. He said he had workouts and coaching. I wanted to ask you, brother Chris, what Bengals draft pick are you most excited about? See if we get brother Chris to chime in. I said that I was excited about Jack Indris, the tight end from Texas, even though he's a 7th round pick, and obviously the 2nd round pick.
You think he's gonna make the team though, right?
I think if they give him a fair shot, Noah Fan is gone. Uh, there's an option at tight end because Mike Gesicki is a pass catching tight end. Period, point blank. I know we have Tanner Hudson coming back, but it's not a real deep position group.
Yeah, that's true. Shoot, that's it. Them two.
Yeah, he said the same thing I was saying. Howell and Jack Indris, the tight end from Texas, and Landon Johnson. I think even with him being a 7th round pick, has a chance of making the team. Now that defensive tackle group is suddenly become
Yeah.
a strength
Yeah.
in a deep group.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
So
Like
it's
you
not going to
gonna,
be a whole lot of reps to go
nah,
around.
they you gonna
Not
really
at all.
dogfight. You definitely
Somebody ain't gonna be
dogfight.
happy.
But I think, man, with the Navy kid, man, you root for him, man, because being an undersized cat, and he still was an All American. Like you kind of root for that guy for real, for real. But he in an uphill battle with the veterans ahead of him. I mean, I still think Jackson is okay. I think the other kid is still okay. I don't see him jumping them. So, yeah, defensive tackle is gonna be real tough to get on the field.
McKinley Jackson might get his wish and get released
Yeah,
this year, particularly if he doesn't want to be here. I've been a little disappointed, honestly, in Chris Jenkins
yeah, me too.
so far for what he was expected to do. But like I said, it's going to be by committee this year, and
I
it's
don't think he
become
transitioned very well.
well, and I'll stay away from that because I've been pretty vocal about that group,
Yeah.
that group of players that were drafted. But no, I really think this is one of the better drafts that we've had in the Zach Taylor regime. So I'm pretty excited to see what everybody
Nah,
does.
this is his best draft.
Mm. Yeah.
Said people think I'm crazy, but Johnson is in the mold of a Donald. We had success with smaller defensive tackles with Atkins as my prime example.
Them big shoes though.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw the
them two big
Yeah,
guy.
them
shoes.
big shoes, Jack. Like hopefully if he has any type dog in him like that, that would be wonderful. But them is some big shoes.
I saw him working out. There's a clip of him working out with Aaron Donald. And a guy I follow on Instagram, he's got like almost 80,000 followers. The Bengals.Central page, he posted that
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that
and
before. I've seen him.
and
Yeah.
was making that comparison. I'm really hesitant to make comparisons like that. I get what everybody's saying, similar build. They even kind of look, like one another. Undersized defensive tackle. I get it, but I'm like Aaron Donald, man. Even Gino, Gino is a legend here and should be considered a Hall of Famer. Excuse me for the Bengals. So I'm just a little hesitant, but I can see that.
Yeah.
He said McKinley gets cut. CJ definitely I'll notice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 You got. I mean, not for long. It's what the NFL is called.
What he
But
say?
not
The,
for long, buddy. You better get in there and show me what you can do.
the
Otherwise, you're gonna be in the unemployment line, brother.
Colin Cowherd made a good point though, and that I have to bring up. He said it's clear that the
Service.
Ohio State Buckeyes are the preeminent, place for producing college football talent right now, particularly when you had that many guys go in the top 10 or top 11 picks. And he was talking about how that used to be Alabama, for most of the last decade. But Ryan Day kind of has that on lock right now. And it's a really hard thing to do with the transfer portal now and with coaches being plucked from your staff. You see Brian Hartline's down in South Florida, right now. So I do want to give a shout out to Ryan Day, another guy that was seriously on the hot seat just, a year and a half ago,
Mhm.
or maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But uh, we know it's not the easiest place to coach and the expectations to come with it, but the talent that he's got pumping in there now. And there was a nice piece on James Laurinaitis recently too on how he's transferred that linebacker room and got the linebackers playing ball again, because that had become a position of weakness for Ohio State in the past few years. But now, what he had two linebackers drafted in the top 10,
Yeah.
Styles and Reese,
That
and
is
it's got
correct. Yep. Yep.
a few guys on deck there. So proud of him coming home and doing what he's got to do. Before you know it, somebody be coming after him too, trying to pluck him away from the coaching staff.
I have to be proud of y'all of the Ohio State fandom because some of y'all was a little bit wild talking about losing to Michigan and winning the chip ain't the same. I'm glad y'all have got over that because some of that logic was a little bit wild. I don't care if y'all lose to Michigan. If y'all win a national championship, don't nobody care y'all lose to Michigan. I understand because I'm on the outside of the fandom. But them chips look real good versus be losing to Michigan. I don't think no. If the trade off is a chip versus losing to them, give me the chip, brother. That's all I care about.
Who said we got over that?
I think some of y'all have though, not you, but some of y'all have, and I'm proud of y'all for at least getting over that a little bit.
You didn't hear me say nothing when we lost to
Yeah,
Miami this year
right.
because the goal was accomplished.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
I'm
the
sorry.
ultimate goal. Is
Beat
the
that
chip.
team up north. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah. Hold on, big
Brother
Chris.
Juan in the house. He say, "Was yeah, I know, man. I wanted to stop through today, but I had to get home and get ready for the podcast and everything because I left work a little bit uh, late. I hope y'all won on senior night for B Mac and Christian and Moody and the rest of them.
Big Chris had a question, Al.
They say, why so much hate on Knight and Carter? They were rookies coming into the worst defense in the league and they ain't getting no grace. I think the reason there's so much hate, Chris, is because of some of the graphics and stats that these nerds will put out on times on the network, and it showed which was the truth. You can't dispute it. they were in the top 10 as far as missed tackles in the entire league. Now, football guys understand, like us, Cal, that a lot of times with linebackers, unless you just have a slam dunk from day
Yeah.
one, I'm talking about a LT or Ray Lewis come in, that's going to happen.
Right.
There's so much to understand. There's a first year defensive coordinator, with Golden out there. That's going to happen. So what I look at really is I'm looking at, can these guys play? Are they getting there? Yes, you want them to bear down and make the tackle, but are they making their reads? Are they athletic enough to get to where they need to do, to where you can coach them up to actually make the play at a later date and time? And I saw that particularly with Knight. Barrett Carter, I think, has a little bit more developed. But Knight was there. He just has to make the play. And I see
Right.
the traits and why they drafted
And,
him.
and and I'm gonna say this too, Chris, because Chris know coming from Coleraine, and he went to the mountain, all that. When you are set up initially for the success of being able to have a veteran like Logan Wilson there, then all of a sudden he's gone, and there's no veteran presence. To now you got two rookies calling plays, trying to get everybody lined up, and then you got an incompetent strong safety who can't help you out a bit because he just putting everybody in the worse position than what you in. So they had a goofy strong safety. They had pretty much a veteran that left them that they didn't have that mentorship to do. So they possibly just didn't really understand or grasp the speed of it. Now I'm to answer the question why they probably ain't getting no grace. Put it like this: you don't want to see a fall off. I didn't want to see a fall off. I really didn't. I didn't want to see bad linebacker play, knowing that most of it is a see ball, hit ball. Yes, you got to get folks lined up, but I just didn't want to see the fall off. But then, knowing that they rookies, once the emotions and the fandom goes away, like I said earlier, the logic kicks in. So cool, they're rookies. They're gonna make mistakes, but at least they're making it on the job. They ain't like they not playing and then getting in the game and making the mistakes. At least they making the mistakes in real time. So this year, it shouldn't be no excuse.
Yeah.
If they're good enough. If they're not them guys, and that's different. But if they're good enough, which I think 49 and 44 they are, then I think they should be okay. But they were set up initially for success, and then it just went away.
And you got to look at the amount of rush yards that the Bengals gave up. I think they were the worst in the league in that category. They were either 31 or 32, so still at the back end of the field in that. There's a lot that goes into that. We talked about it earlier. Now the defensive tackle room is going to be a strength going forward. They're not going to have as many people up in their face, hopefully getting to the second level, bothering them. They're going to have a half a second, maybe even 2 seconds on a certain play to get into their reads and be able to react without somebody up in their face. That's going to make a difference too. So it's all encompassing.
All right, I got a question. Do y'all think the secondary is going to be an issue this year?
I don't. And because I feel like this, if the front seven, and I'm sorry, let's start with this. If the front four can get there with four, the Bengals will have at least 10 interceptions, at least early. Because most good defenses, if you could get there with four, you cook it with grease. If you ain't got to blitz nobody, that's different. And I think the Bengals front seven right now, they look like they can get there. If they can get there and take that pressure off the secondary, I think the secondary won't be a problem as a whole. Because everything runs on the string, especially on defense. The front four protect the linebackers protect. They flow and make plays. Defensive backfield keep the house roof on, and so it's like everything kind of works together. But if that front four, just like Philly was so good when they won the Super Bowl because that front four was killing. If that front four for the Bengals can get there and make everything easier, then I believe the secondary won't be a problem.
I think there's no doubt that they're going to take pressure off the secondary. Speaking of the front seven, basically at this point this year being upgraded, but I'm going to be honest. I do still have some slight concerns. One being, are we dependent on Dax Hill to be cornerback number 2 and taking him out of the slot where he might be slightly more effective? I'm not completely sold on DJ Turner. I know everybody's going to throw that stat up and say, well, he led the league in pass breakups. That's one of them stats. I'm not going to say it's a useless stat because it does mean something. I mean, it just means that they're throwing to his side a lot.
Right.
And I mean, he could be allowing those catches. So I guess you have to look at it as a double-edged sword.
The thing I hate the most about it is we grew up in them areas, and I know it's bad to make these comparisons, but the Charles Wilsons, the Champ Baileys, the Ed Reeds, they didn't have pass deflections. You know why? Because they was picks.
Because they ain't throwing it.
No, they was interceptions, brother. If they most of the time, if all them guys got their hands on the ball, them was interceptions.
I was gonna go there, and I was trying to hold off, but Cal said it because in our slimmer days, me and Cal were both.
Yeah, man, that was a couple 100 pounds ago. But
you know that's the difference. When you start solidifying guys and calling them a lead or depending on guys on your defense, those pass breakups need to turn into, interceptions,
turnovers,
and turnovers. So I'm still concerned, but the defensive line is going to ease things as far as the pressure back there. Cook is going to be critical too, pairing with Battle back there at the safety spot, because we have to get better production and patrolling the halves of the fields from the safeties. I'm not saying it's going to go back to the Jesse Bates, Von Bell days, because that was a dream scenario and tandem that we had back there. We have to get better than we've had the past 2 years from the safety spot as well. So Nate, since we do have you on the feed now, let's go ahead and talk about it, and then I'm going to get to
my boy LA Knight say, let's talk about
it. But I want to talk about my other team for half a second that I haven't talked about a lot lately. So without Austin Reeves and without Luka Doncic, old man King James has managed to get the Lakers one step away from getting into the second round. Do the Lakers close out the show against the Durantless Houston Rockets tonight?
Yep, they do. I think that last game, a lot of turnovers. There was a lot of turnovers that game, both sides, and they started letting Alfred Sengun get into a groove. So that's really what made that game get out of hand. Him and Thompson. Thompson's really been stepping up a lot in this series. He's showing that he's the complete twin. We'll say that. And he also he's forcing them to play defense and rebound. Rebound has really been the issue with the Lake Show. Even with the two big boys, Aiden and Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes been averaging like 2 rebounds a game. That's absolutely terrible coming off the bench. Absolutely terrible. So, and DeAndre Ayton has, when he rebounds and he's scoring more than 15 points, if you realize, they win the game. Last game, he did not have 50. I think he had, no, it's when he gets a double-double, they win in the game. So, all the games that they've won, he's got a double-double.
He said he's not Clinton Capella and didn't want to be played like that. And everybody laughed at him, but when they actually run sets for him or actually try to let him cook a little bit,
he's effective.
He proved that he still has game. So the Lakers can be dangerous now. I'm looking at Wemby and company close out yesterday, and the Spurs won their first series since 2017. They look a little dangerous. They're
terrifying right now.
That they got, especially De'Aaron Fox playing for them now too.
Did you see him at the end of that game cook it up?
I did, but
man, he cooked it up for like 10 straight.
Gone and get Portland up out of there. By the way, if people haven't seen that documentary, The Jailblazers, that was hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was funny.
I forgot about that Chappelle show episode.
Yeah.
Right.
He rode there with him. That he said, Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh man. No, you know what? This this is turning into the playoffs that I expected, and I'm just glad to see these guys actually playing hard and doing what they don't do during the regular season anymore in the NBA. It's been exciting and good basketball to watch. I would be remiss if I didn't mention my New York Knicks before we transition out of the NBA sphere. They are one game away from knocking off these pesky Atlanta Hawks.
You said the right word. They are pesky.
Very pesky and not entertaining to watch either without no Trae Young. So gonna get rid of
Well,
them.
C.J. McCollum made it interesting the first 2 games, but now he disappeared into the
CJ
dark again.
from the 330 area code up there in Akron.
Man, I forgot he was even in the league still.
Yeah, he's still going, man.
I forgot he was still in the
Fresh
league.
out of Lehigh.
Yeah, buddy.
Still cooking. So
yeah, but your Knickerbockers.
Yeah.
Brunson's got to score 30.
I just want Brunson to prove everybody wrong who said that the Knicks' demise is going to be because you can't win a championship with a small player being your best player on your team.
No, that ain't true. Kemba Walker.
I will admit it makes it hard, but I don't think it's impossible.
It ain't impossible. Kemba Walker won a national championship. Spaz Napier did the same thing.
That's
college though, brother. 7-game series. I don't know about that. You can't do that 7 games. I don't think so.
He's done it. He almost got to the finals last year doing this.
The only person to do it in the pros was Zeke.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas was the only one, wasn't it? But he had the bad boys too, though.
AI and
you got to remember he had a Hall of Famer behind him.
Yeah, AI had a tough go of it, but he ran into the Kobe.
They almost, but couldn't get it done.
Yeah, couldn't get over the hump. Yes, outside of Zeke, you're right. You're absolutely correct.
No, this is our window this year because you still got Jason Tatum coming back off of injury. Tyrese Halliburton is hurt and not playing. If the Knicks don't get it done this year with this group, you almost wondered that they missed it.
I said bro, didn't I say that we was at the draft thing? I said they're gonna have to break up this Villanova team. They're gonna have to send Markel Bridges somewhere in a deal. They're gonna have to go find a second scorer, somebody that can actually score.
Well, they got plenty.
And then they're gonna have to think about Cat. They're gonna have to think about doing something with Cat too.
Josh,
even though they gave Cat all that money.
Right, about to say they gave him too much money for now.
Yeah.
Josh Hart is still the new John Starks. You get production from him. You get and he stretches the floor. Mikal Bridges does his thing. They just gotta win. I'm not even gonna overanalyze it. Like this is their window.
Oh, I'm telling you, Markel Bridges is too inconsistent. He's too inconsistent. You need that secondary score. I mean, OG cool for it. OG will do it every once in a while. OG take a lot of damn shots though. That's what I realized watching y'all. He taking about 20. Yeah, man. He taking about 20, 30 shots, bro.
The
reason I'm okay with OG doing that is because of what he does on the other end of the floor.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he does. Yeah, he does. He do lock in. I'll give you that.
So I'm definitely all right with that. So I also asked in the group chat. I wanted a lover boy on here, Big John, too, but he's not, shall we say, eligible tonight to participate. So I wanted to ask a question about the sports history moment you would change if you could. We had kind of talked about this in another episode, but I think I know where some of you guys are going to go. And the reason I'm doing it is also I'm going to make a teaser clip because I'm going counterintuitive on this moment. So if each of you, I'll start with Cal, you had a magic wand, man, and you could change just one a particular sports moment in history for a different outcome to occur, what would you change?
Oh man, it would. I think you know what I'm going to say, but I'm not going to say that one. I'm gonna say, man, that Logan Wilson pass interference, man, the holding call in the Super Bowl.
Ooh, I like that.
That was tough, man.
That's
That
a
was
good
tough
one.
to watch.
That is a good one.
That was tough to watch. That was tough everything because that changed the complexion of the game completely. And it wasn't a
They
penalty
scored
at
the next
all.
possession, didn't they?
They kicked. I think they scored a touchdown,
They scored a touchdown.
they
Yeah.
scored a
They
touchdown,
got
which
a
put them
first
up
and
by.
goal, and the
Yeah,
Bengals would have stopped them on fourth
yeah,
down.
that would have
Just
been fourth
going
down.
off the history of that defense and that playoff run,
Yeah,
they would
that
have stopped them
was
on fourth
that
down.
by far. I'll take that play away. If that and then the big mo, and I would bet my last dollar the Bengals win that Super Bowl. But that Logan Wilson play penalty that wasn't a penalty, by all means, I take that away.
Oh, I like that from Brother Chris also. Definitely, because we're showing our local fandom and bias on that one. But he said, and Walter Payton not scoring in the Super Bowl
Yeah, that's crazy.
for the Bears. I
Yeah,
like that one. That's another
yeah,
counterintuitive one I didn't think about. But yeah, definitely deserved to score. And no offense against the fridge. That was Walter Payton's touchdown.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
After not missing a game for 12 years, playing on that hard AstroTurf up there.
Finally getting the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, you give it to the fridge. That's tough.
Yeah, even Coach Dickens said if he had that back, he would have done that differently. He wasn't thinking about it at the time, but I'm like, why weren't you thinking about it? That's your best player. That's Mr.
That's
Chicago
your horse.
Right.
himself that got you there. That should have been the first thing on your mind. Nate, I bet I know where Nate going with this. Nate, if you could change one sports moment in history, what would it be?
Ron Artest not hitting that three against my Celtics.
In the 2010 NBA Finals,
I
Ron
don't need Kobe to
Artest
get another ring. He didn't need another ring.
coming through clutch at the end, delivering championship number 17 to my Los Angeles Lakers.
I cut the TV off. That's how bad it was.
The field was a wrap at that point.
I cut the TV off.
Well, I'm going counter too because I thought about this all day even before I put it in the group chat. The number one sports moment that I would change if I had a magic wand.
The Super Bowl was another one, Cal. My bad.
Yeah.
That was. I'm glad you said it. I ain't had to.
That was tough.
Yeah, that hurt my.
That
I
was
think I
almost
cried.
that was almost a tear moment.
I did shed a tear. That was
crocodile, but
absolutely
that almost
terrible.
was a tear moment. Like you got to step away for a minute. Like what just happened?
Go outside and break something.
Man.
Yeah, the number one moment of sports moment that I could change if I would, because I think we could all use the cheat code and say the Kenyon Martin not getting.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
But
that's a good one.
But I'm going to stay away from that one because I've said that one before. When I really sat back and thought about it, I went back to the 70s when Paul Brown retired and hired Bill Tiger Johnson over Bill Walsh.
Yeah.
If I could reverse history and the Bengals then offensive coordinator, Bill Walsh, rightfully gets that head coaching job like he was supposed to,
probably
think about that dynasty in the West Coast offense that was formed here in the city of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
That's the one I would change because, of course, Bill Walsh famously goes on to get the head coaching job with the San Francisco 49ers and beats the Bengals twice in the Super Bowl in 81 and 88 over his former team. Just a completely different history. Just think about potentially, because he was also the GM of the 49ers also, just thinking about the potential of having Joe Cool here, or Jerry Rice, Roger Craig, and Bill Romanowski, and Ronnie Lott, and that whole 49ers dynasty.
Yeah. Could have been here.
Yeah. That's the one I would definitely change if I could.
Yeah, that was hurtful. That was tough.
Yeah, that's tough too. I ain't even.
Yeah, that's
just thinking of the history of that. Yeah, that's tough. We could have been winning rings. Good stretches.
Damn, that would have been a hell of a
30, definitely would have. Definitely would have.
Yeah, that's a hell of a 30 for 30 right there.
There's a famous clip on NFL Films, and it's been on NFL Network, where one of the reasons that Paul Brown, as forward thinking as he was, the West Coast offense was a little bit too complicated for him. And some of the plays that Bill Walsh would call in, there's a famous play where he's like, "Jesus, Bill, what is that?" Where he's calling in a play that was a little bit too complicated for him, and it goes to speak. And I went back and I showed a clip from the '88 Super Bowl where Sam Weiss, y'all know I love Sam Weiss, so God rest his soul,
Mm-hmm.
is talking about in the fourth quarter, we got to get down here and get a field goal. Joe Montana walks on the field and says, "Hey, look, there's John Candy in the stands, and we're getting ready to score a touchdown." There's a difference. One guy's thinking about a field goal and trying not to lose. The other guy is thinking about scoring a touchdown, going for the gusto and winning.
And wasn't Boomer the MVP that year?
Yep.
Yes,
88.
it was the
Like
1988
Boomer,
NFL MVP.
he should have just let it rip with Boomer. Like you don't handcuff your MVP. Let him go out there and seal the game for you.
Yeah, Boomer had what 24 seconds left after Montana hit.
There
Taylor.
wasn't much he could do.
He had plenty of time.
Yeah. Well, 24 seconds though with no timeouts is actually not a lot of time.
Yeah.
And they didn't really have a burner. Like the Bengals were methodical then. It was run, pass, and pass was if we needed to.
Eddie Brown was pretty.
Yeah. He was one of one. He was fast, but as far as like 24 seconds, no timeouts. That's
Yeah, no, our offense is no huddle and quick as it wasn't set up necessarily that in that particular game. Because you got to remember the Bengals had 2,000-yard rushers that year.
Yeah.
And Icky Woods and my man, what was his name? Stanley
Jennings.
No. Johnson, the third running back that got caught with cocaine.
Oh, the one that didn't even play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the night before.
Yeah.
Stanley Johnson. He ran for over 500. Okay. He ran for over 500 yards that year too. So the Bengals depended on 3 running backs that year. That was, even though Boomer did win, NFL MVP and threw for a gazillion yards, that was still a running based team that year. So that's the one that I would change, Bill Walsh, if I could. So Nate, it became official on Monday, and I announced it on the Factual Opinions website within minutes of it being released.
We're getting that dream fight, huh?
Finally, it's a few years after the fact, but like I told Cal before you got on here, I said we still gonna watch it.
Yeah. We want to see who the king of Wembley is.
I just wish that there was some heavyweight belts involved with this fight, but it's one of the 2 fights that everybody wanted to see.
Yeah, as far as the heavyweight division, this
everybody wanted to see either Fury versus Joshua or Joshua versus Deontay Wilder.
Mm-hmm. So my take on this, excuse me. I think the Gypsy King go play with him, try to play with him, pause, and then put him down. And then put him down.
There. If this was the Anthony Joshua that I became a fan of, the one that knocked out Vladimir Klitschko and sent him into retirement, I would go with Joshua. But he's never been the same since Ruiz put them paws on him.
Nope.
Up there at Madison Square Garden. And when he tried to come out of his shell and become aggressive again, Dubois knocked him out.
Yep.
So I know what happens with fighters like that. And Anthony Joshua is a smart guy, both in and outside of the ring. He's never going to be aggressive the way that he was.
No. We'll never see that first wave of Anthony Joshua ever again. And then we also got to think about how he's gonna be able to move as far as mobility and everything after that car accident situation.
Yeah.
So we had to take those things into consideration with this fight. Even though he said he's 100%, you still got to worry about mobility after a car accident because your joints still be somewhere else. So
and we won't know until he gets back in the
See
ring.
him in the ring. Yeah, that's what we banking on. We got to wait, and it's the waiting game to see how he look.
I just don't want y'all to do what y'all did to Bud and that cheap excuse after he put pause on your favorite fighter and say that it had car accident or his eye. Listen, man.
I didn't. Now, hold on. You know damn well. I didn't say any of that. Because if
No,
that was the
you
case,
didn't,
he
but a
wouldn't have
lot of
gotten the
other
ring.
people did.
He wouldn't have gotten the ring if that eye was an issue. That eye wasn't no issue in that fight.
Well, to quote Big John, since he's not on here, one of the things that you had to do in boxing is you have to sign a waiver before the fight saying that you're 100%
Yeah.
and able to fight. And that's why, as much as people want to talk about Andre Ward or even give Keith Thurman hell for the inactive periods and when they get hurt, waiting a year, sometimes 2 years before they get back in the ring, I have all the respect in the world for them for doing that, because once you get in there, that sport more than any. Because I feel that way about football and even basketball and stuff. Like if you go out there, then you're expected to contribute and do your job. But especially in
Yeah.
boxing, if you sign that waiver and say I'm good to go, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just you in there, I don't want to hear nothing after the fight, because Manny Pacquiao made me lose a lot of respect for him when he did that after the Floyd. Oh, my shoulder.
Yeah.
You got your ass whooped.
Yeah. That was an ass
Yeah.
whoop.
Yeah.
Don't do that after the fact,
I
man.
don't know if I don't know if
I
Joshua.
really
I don't
think that
think Joshua
I
gonna be
really
able to
think it
take
was the
this
steroids.
punishment.
I ain't gonna hold you. I'm sorry, Cal. That's
What'd
go
you
ahead.
say, Cal?
I don't think Joshua gonna be able to take this punishment, man. I don't know. I think the big gypsy man. I don't think Joshua gonna be able to take that punishment.
Is Fury gonna
Um,
be able to dish out the same level of punishment though? Because
I hope.
him and his dad fell out prior to his last fight, because he
Mhm.
told his own son, "Is like you were done after the Wilder fights."
Yeah. He. I believe. I think he was. I just think with Joshua because of
No, you mean
the
you talking about the Usyk fight?
yeah. It's like man, he just don't seem like that chin don't seem and that body don't seem like it holds up to some of the punches that we've seen others take. That he didn't took some from Ruiz, and I ain't taking nothing from Ruiz, but I'm taking nothing away from him because he did beat him up. But it just seems like you shouldn't have lost that fight. Like you should have been more prepared for that. Um,
Well, they tried to say it was because of the media tour, how he was
yeah,
promoting, and
I'm,
they said his
you
first
know
time
what?
in the states fighting.
That's an excuse. I'm going to give him an excuse, but not that one. That
Yeah.
one was purely his fault, because I said that when he came over here, first thing he did when he came over a couple weeks before the fight, he went to Miami and he went
yeah,
to this pristine house that he was living at
Yeah.
and training and stuff, and it was this tropical environment. He wasn't focused on fighting. I could tell that. Then he goes to New York, for the
He was
pre-fight.
on Breakfast Club.
He's on Breakfast Club. He's on Power, whatever, 101, all that Hot 97. And he's talking about, yeah, I'm listening to hip hop and the Notorious B.I.G. and Big
yeah,
L and da 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 da. I'm like, all right. And then I see the hotel that he's at and training at, and there's a crystal chandelier hanging up there. And I remember Ali specifically saying, Muhammad Ali saying, the reason why he always had his training camp at that farm in Pennsylvania and stuff, and pumped his own water and stuff. He said, because how can I remain hungry if I'm sitting up here with the creme de la creme and taking in
I
all the
ain't gotta do nothing. I get room.
mhm,
I get
like,
room service.
yeah, like you can't do that. Now, the excuse I am going to give Anthony Joshua, and he still should have been able to take care of business, is he was supposed to fight Jarrell Big Baby Miller.
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
Big Baby got popped for Roy's 2.5 weeks before the fight, and they bring Andy Ruiz in here. And I'm sure Joshua was looking at him like, man, I'm about to beat this flabby, you know what, up, and wasn't really prepared to fight him. He had been preparing all that emotion to fight Big Baby Miller. And
Mm-hmm.
when he came out, let's not forget, what was that, round two?
yeah.
Did he drop Ruiz right away?
Yeah, he dropped him in 2. Yeah,
with a serious combination. So up until that point, that was the Anthony Joshua that we were expecting and wanting to see here in America. And it was his first fight in America, so he's trying to put on a show. And Ruiz just hit him just right in that equilibrium, and it threw it off.
Yeah, that punch is
and
trash.
he never bounced back from it either.
Well, but here's the thing, though. Joshua did beat him in the rematch. So
he did. He beat him in the rematch.
You know, it still wasn't the Anthony Joshua that we wanted to see, you know, and haven't seen since. But I still am very excited about this fight, though. So Nate, we'll have to watch it somewhere, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever gonna see the Joshua Deontay Wilder fight.
Nah, I think that shit can sell, buddy.
Yeah.
And then you know he's what is he, number 2 for a belt right now? Deontay Wilder. Hold on, let me look it up.
Mm-hmm. He looked like he's just out there swinging literally now. I don't think there's no strategy. I don't think from my eyes.
It's been said a few times that trainers don't want to train him.
Yeah.
So
that's why he's got Malik Scott.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to either, you know, based on how he turned on my man Mark, you know, after the second, you know, Fury fight and stuff. And you got to look at it this way, as much as I hate to admit
and he told him the whole fight what to do.
We all know Deontay Wilder's a one-trick pony. And while Malik Scott has been working hard to add some aspects to his game, and he has, but if you go 42-1, become heavyweight champ of the world based on that right hand, that's what you know. That's what got you there. That's what won you your bronze medal. It's not a whole lot that you're going to be able to teach him after the fact. Unless Emmanuel Stewart was alive, now I put faith in him that he could have, you know, added
fixed him.
Yeah, but that's early on. They waited so long to make any changes. He kind of is what he is, and now he's not the same fighter that he used to be either. And this is the point in your career where your physical attributes start to decrease a little bit because of father time. So you need to have some technique behind it, and that's not his strong suit.
Nope, it ain't at all.
So I actually wish Deontay Wilder would retire. I'm still a huge fan. I think what he did was tremendous, walking in a boxing gym at 19 years old, winning a bronze medal and becoming a heavyweight champion of the world. It's almost impossible. So while some people make fun of him, I actually would like to highlight how much of an accomplishment that was that he did. But I would like to see him retire before he gets hurt or before he further decimates his resume. Yeah.
Is Don King still one of the top? No, he ain't involved no more. That's right. They didn't weed him out.
Nah, he's been blackballed, man.
Yeah, he's been blackballed. I forgot.
Man, I thought,
man, he make an appearance in there, man.
Man, I listen. I didn't even know I know Don King was still with us.
Oh yeah. He like 92.
Man, I thought.
Yeah, he up there.
I mean, I'm glad he is.
Fights, bro.
I thought he was in the
promoting fights.
It was just a couple fights ago. He was promoting AB.
Yeah.
What's up with our brother, man? It's over for him, man. I thought he was gonna make a comeback, man.
Well, we kind of know he's doing the streaming for money. We know that. Yeah.
He ain't even in no boxing. He ain't even no kind of shape.
No, he's not mentally, physically, or emotionally, not at all involved with boxing.
Yeah.
AB got a gut now.
Yeah, he my gut about the same size as his right now.
Oh man,
he's gonna have a comeback, but you know, I don't see it.
He would be one of the biggest.
He needs a recovering program.
If there was a story made, man, on the biggest what ifs or what could have been in boxing, man, he would definitely be the first person I would want to do a story.
Man, let's not do that, Cal, because don't forget, he is a history. He's in the books for history.
Yeah. You know.
No, I mean, he's a multi-time world champion, and especially at the
it takes nothing away from him, but it's like one of those.
You know what he did himself a disservice in doing? He had an example before him. All he had to do was watch the Zav Judah story, and he could have really turned himself around and not gone down some of the same, roads. I think both of them at a certain point were more worried about and influenced by what boxing could do for them and being famous more so than they were honing their craft and actually loving the sport of boxing. And I think both of them have admitted that at several different times that, hey man, I kind of like what
I think
boxing.
Zab got caught up in. He got caught up in the culture more than anything. Culture ate him alive.
Well, the time that Zab came out, especially, and being a New York fighter, and first one to be on Rockaware and all that, the Brooklyn thing, but he was a product of his environment also. But both of them more so, like I said, like what boxing did for them as opposed to loving the sport of boxing itself. So
Yeah.
he could have watched that and took some pointers. But hey man, he's from the city, he did his thing. And that's the other part. When you come down, when you as controversial as he is, like some of those athletes, when you coming down, people are less likely to stick their hand out and want to do favors for you. Before they had to do it because he was up and coming, he was a hot commodity. They could make money off of him. They may not like what he said and did, but they'll put up with it. Now there's no value. So they're not gonna put up and deal with that. And you talking about being the can man and all of that, like people are turned off by that. So
Yeah, I give it to him though. That was one of the best one-liners I ain't heard though. The can man,
That
anybody
was, yeah,
can get
definitely
it.
was.
Yeah,
That
I was
was.
like, okay, I like that one.
Yeah, I give you that. That was a good one. I
Yeah,
give you
that
that.
was a good one, brother.
Jim Gray immediately started hating though. So
But I don't think Jim Gray likes Cincinnati no way. We
No,
figured
I don't
that
think
out.
he like nothing affiliated with us.
I think he ever since Pete Rose, I don't think he like nothing to come out of Cincinnati for real.
that's a fair point.
What
Because
happened? What P Rose do to him?
oh man, when he asking them both, they did I forget it was an all-star game and they had like the top 2,500 players of all time, whatever. And in the midst of the ceremony, Jim Gray is asking Pete Rose gambling questions. Like, man, my
Oh
man, we
yeah.
trying to celebrate. What is you doing?
Yeah,
So
are you ready
I
to
ever
admit
since,
that you gambled yet and all of that?
yeah, like what are you doing? Like, why would that even be a question right now for that? And I think ever since then, I don't think he had much. He didn't care much about Cincinnati after that.
And since we're on the subject, before I forget, when we get ready to close out, shout out to Brandon Phillips, Aaron Harang, Lou Pinella, and Reggie Sanders being inducted into the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard not to be a Reds fan when you grow up in Cincinnati. It's still Major League Baseball's first professional team. We still have won 5 World Series championships, and our Hall of Fame rivals Cooperstown itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
there's some legendary players in that Reds Hall of Fame, man. I love looking up at that backdrop and that wall when I go down to the stadium and just looking at least once when I'm down there. Every time I'm going to look at that wall and look at all those retired jerseys, man. It's crazy.
And
Yeah,
they playing
we got a list.
and they playing
Quite
good
a
ball
list.
right now too, man. I don't know how long they're gonna keep it up, but they playing good ball right now.
They are first in the
Yeah, they
National
first in
League
the league, in the
division
National
right
League.
now. They're playing some ball. Tito's got them out there playing some good baseball right now.
Yep.
Deli Cruz looks like he's serious right now.
Yeah. As long as he's gonna strike out a lot, we know that. As long as he's not committing bonehead errors, but the plays that he do make, man, dude is different.
Man, he looking like a Gold Glover right now.
And dude,
Man,
listen,
he's backhanding them balls and turning around and throwing that strike to.
he's throwing. Baseball has that. It's kind of weird because baseball has a tendency. People are like slower, so you got the slow guys that's getting down the line slow. Ellie's throwing out guys who are fast. Like he's going in the hole throwing out guys that's just as fast as he is. So yeah, he playing some ball right now, man.
Was that guy from the Twins that just stared at
He
him?
just stared at him. What could he do?
No, that was the Tampa Bay Rays. They home.
Yeah, the
team.
Rays. I'm sorry, because
He
that's
just
his.
stared at him.
They both from the same place. So he just
Yeah,
stared
they
at him
both
like,
from the
man, they
crib.
both
Yeah,
from.
they
I
both
said,
from
man,
same
Ellie,
spot.
he made plays, man. That's wild, man. And it's like, the comparison's gonna come out of who think better, was it him or was it Larkin? Put it like this: we know what Barry Larkin is. There's no comparison. Ellie is fun to watch, Barry Larkin was baseball shortstops for decades. So there's no comparison. But I love the fact that Ellie is young. He brings an excitement to the game, and he plays and he has fun. He has fun. So yeah. So
Now I know I'm biased
messing with him
when it
right
comes
now.
to this subject. I love Ellie. I like watching him play. But the captain is the
Yeah.
captain.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Taking absolutely. We not even gonna do
And
that.
that's my favorite baseball player all the time. So I'm always gonna be biased.
Yeah.
The homegrown Barry Larkin. I don't even want to hear it. Barry Larkin.
He said, I don't even want it in your head.
Yeah, bruh. One of the greatest shortstops of all time. And you know what's crazy? I don't know if Brother Chris is probably still here or not, but watching Derek Jeter's documentary and knowing that he was supposed to be a Cincinnati Red
Yeah. I say that.
and they
I
passed
say
on
that.
it
Yeah.
out of respect for Barry because they didn't want to feel like him to feel like
Yeah.
they were pushing him out or doing anything disrespectful. And I'm like, man, I get it. I would have
Yeah.
had to do one of those Cal Ripkins. Hey, we're gonna move you over to third
Move you
base.
over to third, brother. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was amazing at third though.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that's the only other one that I would have said, no, we're not passing on Jeter, bro.
Nah, we
Yeah.
can't do that, brother.
He was a generational talent.
Definitely. Definitely.
So yeah.
So that's yeah. See, I knew Brother Chris was probably there. He said that's crazy. Prime too.
Yeah. Yeah. Prime said that in his, man. He said he wanted to be a Bengal when he was a Red.
Prime wanted to move here. He wanted to spend.
He wanted to live, yeah. It wanted to be permanent.
Now you know what's crazy. Melvin Levitt had a birthday last week, and I wished the helicopter a happy birthday. And I made a nice video for him that didn't have anything to do with him dunking because I specifically wanted to show a counterintuitive video showing the complete basketball player that he was here and how he used to get buckets too, not just dunk.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when I posted that, I made that post years ago, and he was one of the people that was like, bro, you capping. And I said, I am not. I said, I wrote a book on Deion Sanders when I was in second grade and how he wanted to be a Cincinnati Bengal. And at the time, his representatives reached out to the Bengals and they wouldn't even call him back because it was just something that Mr. Brown did not, want. He didn't want all that attention, and the expectations would have changed back then in the 90s if Prime came here. But he absolutely wanted to play for the Bengals when they were dookie.
Yeah. Yeah, because he loved the Reds. He loved the Reds.
He loved the city of Cincinnati.
Don't make sense, bro. Don't make sense.
So that's all I wanted to talk about this episode. I want to thank everybody who did stop through. Remember to share, like, subscribe, check out the social media pages. If you're an audio listener, it will be uploaded to Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify for your listening pleasure. It's your host, I am Farrell, checking out with Big Bro Calvin Hill.
Yes, sir.
Will West the best, Nate.
You know it.
We'll try and do it better the next time.
For sure.